The car seat was all wrong, and Jack Reeves couldn't help but notice. He stood in the checkout line at Target, balancing his 5-year-old daughter Lily on his hip while juggling a basket containing mac and cheese boxes, a pack of socks, and the cheapest bottle of children's cough medicine he could find. Ahead of him, a woman in designer sunglasses and a sleek ponytail struggled to scan a brand-new car seat, the kind with all the bells and whistles that cost more than Jack's entire weekly grocery budget. "Excuse me," he said before he could stop himself. "That car seat is rated for 6 months and up. If your baby is younger, you'll need the infant carrier type." The woman turned, pushing her sunglasses up on her head, revealing striking hazel eyes that widened slightly. "Oh, I thought this was the right one." Her voice carried a hint of uncertainty that didn't match her polished appearance. Jack shifted Lily to his other hip. "Sorry to butt in. It's just that I learned the hard way with this one." He nodded toward his daughter, who was currently examining her fingernails with intense concentration. "Safety ratings are really specific about age and weight. Daddy knows everything about car seats," Lily announced proudly. "He had to take extra classes." The woman's expression softened. "Extra classes?" Jack felt his ears burn. "Part of my co-parenting plan. I had to take some parenting courses when Lily's mom and I split up." He hadn't meant to share that much with a stranger. "Anyway, the infant carriers are over in aisle 12. The Graco ones are good and they're on sale this week." "Thank you." She paused, clearly waiting for his name. "Jack." "And this is Lily." "I'm Francesca," she said with a smile that transformed her face from merely beautiful to breathtaking. "Francesca Newell, and I clearly have a lot to learn." Jack watched as she abandoned her spot in line, returning the car seat to a nearby employee before heading toward aisle 12. Only after she disappeared did he realize he should have offered to help her pick out the right one. "She was pretty, Daddy," Lily whispered conspiratorially. Jack smiled down at his daughter. "Yes, she was. Now let's pay for this stuff so we can get you home and into bed. That cough isn't getting any better." That night, as he tucked Lily into bed in their small 2-bedroom apartment, Jack found himself thinking about the woman from Target. Francesca. It had been a long time since he'd noticed a woman that way. Between working full-time as a construction foreman, taking care of Lily, and pinching pennies to make ends meet after the divorce, dating hadn't exactly been a priority. Lily's cough interrupted his thoughts. He smoothed her hair back from her forehead. "Take your medicines, sweetie." "It tastes yucky," she protested, but took the spoonful anyway, making a dramatic face that made him laugh. "Good job. Now get some sleep." As he cleaned up the kitchen and prepared his own lunch for the next day, Jack tried to shake the memory of those hazel eyes. Women like that, polished, put together, shopping at Target in the middle of a workday, they lived in a different world from his. A world where car seats that cost half his weekly salary were an easy purchase. Jack hadn't always struggled. Before the divorce, before his ex-wife moved across the country with her new husband, leaving him with full custody of Lily, he'd been on track for a management position. Now, he lived paycheck to paycheck, his savings depleted by legal fees from the custody battle, worth every penny, he thought as he checked on Lily one last time before collapsing into his own bed. She was everything to him. The next day was Saturday, and Jack took Lily to the neighborhood park, hoping the fresh air might help her cough. He sat on a bench, watching her climb cautiously on the jungle gym, when he heard a voice behind him. "Is this seat taken?" He turned to find Francesca standing there, this time in jeans and a simple white blouse, her hair loose around her shoulders. Next to her stood a tiny boy, maybe 8 months old, with chubby cheeks and a serious expression. "Francesca, right?" Jack smiled, surprised to remember her name so easily. "Please sit down." She settled beside him, lifting the baby onto her lap. "This is Noah. I took your advice about the car seat, by the way. The Graco one is perfect. Glad I could help." Jack nodded toward Noah. "He's beautiful. You're first." "Yes," her expression clouded slightly. "It's been a steep learning curve." Jack laughed. Tell me about it. I thought I knew what I was doing until Lily's mom left, and suddenly I was on my own. You're doing it alone. Francesca's gaze drifted to Lily, who was now hanging upside down, her dark curls dangling toward the ground. Mostly. Her mom moved to Seattle last year. We FaceTime twice a week. He shrugged, trying to keep the bitterness from his voice. How about Noah's dad? Not in the picture. Her tone was clipped, suggesting a story she wasn't ready to tell. It's just us. They fell into easy conversation, watching their children. Lily eventually noticed them and came running over, immediately fascinated by the baby. Jack watched, heartwarming, as his normally shy daughter gently introduced herself to Noah, who responded with a drooly grin. She's wonderful with him, Francesca observed. Most kids her age aren't so careful. Jack nodded proudly. She helps with the younger kids at her daycare. Says she wants to be a teacher someday. Expensive career path, Francesca commented, then looked embarrassed. Sorry, that was realistic, Jack finished. I'm already worried about how I'll afford college, but we'll figure it out. They spent nearly an hour together before Noah began fussing for his nap. I should get him home, Francesca said, standing reluctantly. This was nice, though. It was. Jack hesitated. Maybe we could do it again sometime, playdate for the kids. Francesca's smile lit up her entire face. I'd like that. They exchanged numbers, and Jack watched her walk away, pushing a stroller that probably cost as much as his monthly rent. Only after she disappeared did he realize he hadn't asked what she did for a living. Not that it mattered. They were just two single parents who'd connected over shared experiences. Nothing more. 2 days later, as Jack was finishing up at the construction site, his phone buzzed with a text from Francesca. Noah's teething and nothing's working. Any advice? Jack smiled, wiping his dusty hands on his jeans before typing back. Frozen washcloth to chew on, children's Tylenol if he's really miserable, and wine for you. 3 dots appeared then. The washcloth is genius. Noah says thank you. Rain check on the wine. Jack stared at the message, uncertain if she was suggesting they meet again. Before he could overthink it, he typed, Lily and I are hitting the Children's Museum this Saturday. Noah might be too young, but you're welcome to join us. Her response came immediately, we'll be there. The museum date turned into lunch afterward, which turned into Francesca inviting them to her place the following weekend for a play date. Jack had expected something nice. Her clothes and stroller had suggested money, but nothing prepared him for the address she gave him. This can't be right, he muttered as he pulled his 10-year-old Honda into the driveway of what could only be described as a mansion in Boston's most exclusive suburb. Wrought iron gates had opened automatically at his arrival, revealing a sweeping circular driveway leading to a stately home that looked like it belonged in a magazine. Is this a castle, Daddy? Lily asked from the back seat, eyes wide. Not quite, sweetie. Jack checked the address again. Maybe he'd made a mistake, but no, this was definitely the place Francesca had given him. The front door opened and Francesca appeared, Noah on her hip. She waved casually, as if inviting people to her private estate was an everyday occurrence. You found us, she called as they approached. Come in, come in. I've got lunch ready. Jack followed her inside, trying not to gawk at the soaring ceilings, marble floors, and what appeared to be original artwork on the walls. Lily had no such reservations, spinning in circles in the foyer. Your house is amazing, she exclaimed. Do you have a swimming pool, Lily? Jack admonished gently. That's not polite, Francesca laughed. It's fine, and yes, I do have a pool. Would you like to see it after lunch? I think I might have a swimsuit that would fit you. Lily looked to Jack with pleading eyes, and he nodded his permission. Still trying to process the disconnect between the Francesca, he thought he knew a normal, somewhat inexperienced single mom and this. Whatever this was. Lunch was served on the terrace by a woman Francesca introduced as Rosa, who appeared to be some sort of household staff. The food was simple but perfect. Homemade macaroni and cheese for the kids, gourmet sandwiches for the adults. Jack picked at his food, feeling increasingly out of place. After they ate, Francesca took Lily to find a swimsuit, leaving Jack alone with Noah, who was happily smashing banana pieces in his high chair. "You've got quite a life, little man," Jack said softly, wiping Noah's sticky fingers with a napkin. The baby gurgled in response, offering Jack a mushy piece of banana, which he pretended to eat, making Noah giggle. "He likes you," Francesca said, returning with Lily, now dressed in a pink swimsuit that still had tags hanging from it. The feeling's mutual. Jack hesitated, then asked the question that had been burning in his mind. "Francesca, what do you do for a living?" She sat down, looking suddenly uncomfortable. I run a company." "What kind of company?" "Tech, mainly. Newell Innovations." She said it like it was nothing, but Jack felt his stomach drop. Newell Innovations was one of the largest tech firms in the country. Its founder, F. Newell, was regularly featured in business magazines as one of America's most successful entrepreneurs. F. Newell, Francesca Newell. You own Newell Innovations." His voice sounded strange, even to his own ears. Francesca nodded, watching his reaction carefully. "I founded it in my garage 12 years ago. It grew. Jack repeated the word, trying to comprehend the magnitude of what she was saying. Newell Innovations wasn't just big, it was massive. Billions of dollars massive. "Is that a problem?" she asked quietly, was it? Jack looked at Lily, happily splashing her feet in the shallow end of the pool where Rosa was watching her. He looked at Noah, contentedly mashing bananas. Then he looked at Francesca, whose expression held a vulnerability that seemed at odds with her surroundings. "No," he finally said, "but it explains why you needed help with the car seat." Francesca burst out laughing, relief evident in her eyes. "I can code software that runs Fortune 500 companies, but baby equipment might as well be alien technology." "Well, that's what friends are for, right?" Jack offered, though the word friends felt inadequate for what he was beginning to feel for her. "Right," Francesca agreed, though something in her tone suggested she might be thinking the same thing. The afternoon stretched on pleasantly, despite Jack's lingering awareness of the vast economic gulf between them. When it was time to leave, Francesca walked them to the door, Noah asleep on her shoulder. "Thank you for coming," she said. "It gets lonely here, just the two of us." "Anytime," Jack replied sincerely, "though next time maybe we could meet somewhere a bit more, in my league." Francesca's face fell slightly. "Jack, I hope you don't think I'm kidding," he assured her. "Mostly, it's just a lot to take in," she nodded. "I understand. For what it's worth, the time I spend with you and Lily, it's the most normal I've felt since Noah was born." Jack understood that better than she knew. Since their first meeting at Target, he'd felt more like himself, not just Lily's dad, not just a struggling divorcee, but Jack, a man who could make a beautiful woman laugh and feel at ease. "See you soon," he asked. "Count on it," she replied. Over the next few months, Jack and Francesca established a routine. They met at parks, museums, child-friendly restaurants, mostly places Jack suggested. He noticed, as if Francesca was consciously avoiding flaunting her wealth. Lily adored Noah, appointing herself his unofficial big sister, and Noah clearly worshipped her in return. And Jack was falling in love with Francesca. It wasn't just her beauty, though that was undeniable. It was the way she listened intently when he talked about his work, genuinely interested in the challenges of managing a construction crew. It was how she never checked her phone when they were together, giving him her complete attention. It was her brilliance, which revealed itself in casual conversation, and her humility about her success. Most of all, it was the mother she was to Noah, dedicated, loving, determined to give him a normal childhood despite their extraordinary circumstances. But Jack kept his feelings to himself. The reality of their situations, his modest income and small apartment versus her. Everything created a barrier he couldn't see past. She might enjoy his company, might value his parenting advice, but anything more seemed impossible. Reality crashed down one evening when Jack was picking Lily up from a playdate at Francesca's house. He arrived to find Francesca in the middle of what appeared to be a business crisis, pacing the living room with her phone pressed to her ear, speaking rapidly about market projections and stock options. Noah was crying in his playpen, clearly upset by his mother's distress. Jack moved instinctively, scooping up Noah and soothing him while Francesca continued her call. He took the baby to the kitchen, found a bottle in the refrigerator, and had Noah contentedly feeding by the time Francesca finished her call. "I'm so sorry," she said, rushing into the kitchen. "The European markets, it's fine," Jack assured her. "Work emergencies happen." "Not usually at this scale." She ran a hand through her hair. "We're talking a potential 9-figure loss if I don't get on a plane to London tonight." Jack blinked, trying to comprehend 9-figure loss as a real concept. "Tonight, my jet's being prepared now. I just need to pack and..." She looked at Noah, still happily drinking his bottle in Jack's arms, and her composed facade cracked. "I don't know what to do about Noah. Rosa has the week off to visit her family. My regular nanny is on vacation. The agency can't send someone until morning." Jack didn't hesitate. "I can take him." "What?" Francesca stared at him. "I can watch him tonight. I've got all Lily's old baby stuff in storage crib, high chair, everything. We can swing by here, pick up his essentials, and he can stay with us until you're back." "Jack, I can't ask you to do that. You're not asking, I'm offering." He adjusted Noah in his arms. "Unless you don't trust me with him, of course I trust you." "But your job, I'll take a personal day tomorrow. After that, if you're still away, we can figure something out with the agency." He smiled. "It's what friends do, Francesca." The relief in her eyes was immediate and profound. "You're more than a friend, Jack. You're..." She stopped, something unreadable passing across her face. "Thank you." 2 hours later, Jack's apartment had been transformed into a makeshift nursery. Francesca had insisted on bringing over what felt like half of Noah's possessions, along with detailed instructions for everything from his bedtime routine to the precise temperature for his bottles. "I shouldn't be more than 2 days," she promised, kissing Noah goodbye for the 5th time. "3 at the absolute most." "We'll be fine," Jack assured her. "Go save your millions or billions, whatever it is." She laughed, but it faded quickly as she looked around his small apartment. "Jack, about my money." "What about it? Does it bother you?" "Because sometimes I get the feeling..." "Francesca," he interrupted gently. "Your success is part of who you are. I admire it. I'm not intimidated by it." A small lie, but necessary in the moment. She studied his face. "Good, because I need you to know something." "What's that?" "The money." "It's just money. It doesn't define me any more than your job defines you." She stepped closer. "What matters to me is that Noah loves you, Lily loves you, and I..." She took a deep breath. "I think I might love you too." Jack froze, certain he'd misheard. "You, what?" "I love you," she repeated, more confidently this time. "I love how you care for Lily. I love how you've helped me figure out this whole parenting thing. I love that you treat me like a normal person, not a walking bank account." She was standing so close now that he could smell her perfume, something subtle and expensive that made his head swim. "I love you," she said for the 3rd time. "And if that complicates things, or if you don't feel the same way..." Jack cut her off with a kiss. It was soft at first, tentative, but when she responded by wrapping her arms around his neck, it deepened into something more urgent, more honest than any words could have been. "I love you too," he whispered against her lips. "I have for months." "Then why didn't you say anything?" He pulled back slightly, gesturing around his modest apartment. "Look at my life, Francesca. Look at yours. It's not exactly an even match," she frowned. "Do you think I care about that? I think reality matters. I make in a year what you probably make in an hour. I can't give you the life you're accustomed to. I don't want you to give me anything except your heart." Her hands framed his face. "The rest is just details." "Pretty significant details," he argued, though his resolve was weakening with every second she remained in his arms. "Jack Reeves," she said firmly. "I am a billionaire. I run one of the largest tech companies in the world. I make decisions every day that affect thousands of lives and millions of dollars. Not helping your case here, he pointed out. She ignored him. And in all that time, with all that power and money, I have never felt as safe, as understood, or as loved as I do when I'm with you. Her voice softened. Noah needs a father. I need a partner. Not because of what you can provide materially, but because of who you are. Jack looked past her to where Lily was showing Noah her favorite stuffed animals, the baby watching with fascinated attention. It was a picture he could easily imagine being permanent. You really don't care about the money? I care that you don't care about the money, she corrected. There's a difference, he laughed, feeling something tight in his chest begin to loosen. Fair enough. So, she said, her fingers playing with the hair at the nape of his neck, are we going to try this? Really try? Jack's answer was another kiss, this one leaving no doubt about his feelings. When they finally broke apart, breathless, he rested his forehead against hers. You'd better go catch your plane, Miss Billionaire. The sooner you leave, the sooner you can come back to us. She beamed at him. I'll be back before you know it. Francesca's 2 or 3 days turned into a week, but Jack didn't mind. He took Noah to work with him the days Lily was in school, earning amused looks from his crew, but managing just fine. In the evenings, they formed a little family unit that felt surprisingly natural. Lily was thrilled to play big sister, and Noah thrived under their care. Francesca called multiple times daily, clearly missing them but also impressed by how well Jack was handling everything. You're amazing with him, she said during a video call on the 5th night. Most men would be overwhelmed. I've had practice, Jack reminded her, shifting Noah on his lap so the baby could see his mother on the screen. Plus, he's an easy kid, takes after his mom. Francesca's eyes softened. I miss you, all of you. We miss you too, right, Noah? The baby babbled in response, reaching for the phone. I'll be home tomorrow, she promised. And Jack, I've been thinking. Dangerous, he teased. About what? About us, about the future. She took a deep breath. I want you to move in with me. Jack blinked, surprised by the suggestion. That's fast, is it? We've known each other for months. Our kids adore each other. I love you, you love me. She paused. Unless I'm wrong about that last part. You're not wrong, he assured her. But it's still a big step. My apartment is all Lily's ever known since the divorce. I understand that. We could take it slow, maybe start with weekends, see how it feels. She hesitated. I just want to wake up with you, Jack. I want us to be a family. The word family resonated through him. It was what he wanted too, what he'd been missing since his marriage fell apart. But moving into Francesca's mansion. Let's talk when you get back, he suggested. Face to face. She nodded, accepting the temporary delay. Tomorrow, then. The next day, Jack took both kids to the airport to meet Francesca's private jet. Lily was bursting with excitement, having never seen a real airplane up close before. As they waited on the tarmac, Jack found himself equally nervous and excited. He'd had a week to think about Francesca's proposition, and he'd come to a decision. When she descended from the plane, looking tired but beautiful, both children squealed with delight. Noah launched himself from Jack's arms into his mother's embrace, while Lily danced around them, chattering about all the fun they'd had. Jack stood back, watching the reunion with a full heart. This was what he wanted, this family, these people. The setting didn't matter. Later that evening, after Lily and Noah were asleep in Francesca's guest rooms, they finally had a moment alone on the terrace. I've been thinking about what you said, Jack began. And Francesca's voice was carefully neutral, but he could see the hope in her eyes. I want us to be a family, he said simply, but I don't think I can live here. Her face fell. Jack, let me finish, he requested gently. I can't live here because this isn't a home, it's a showcase. It's beautiful, but it's not. Lived in. Francesca looked around, seeing her house through his eyes. You're right. I bought it because I thought it was what successful people were supposed to have. I never really made it mine. So here's my suggestion, Jack continued. We find a new place. Together, something that's ours, not yours or mine. Somewhere the kids can grow up with a real yard and normal neighbors. Somewhere. He paused, gathering his courage. Somewhere we can build a life as husband and wife someday, if that's what you want. Francesca's eyes widened. Jack Reeves, are you proposing to me? Not yet, he clarified with a smile. But I'm telling you that's where I'm heading. I love you, Francesca. I love Noah. And I want us to be a real family, but on equal footing. Equal footing, she repeated thoughtfully. You know I'll always have more money than you, right? I'm aware, he chuckled. But that's not what I mean. I want us both to contribute what we can. You'll handle the college funds and fancy vacations. I'll handle teaching Noah how to throw a baseball and fixing things around the house. That sounds suspiciously like traditional gender roles, she pointed out, though she was smiling. Then I'll learn to code and you can learn to use a hammer, he countered. The point is, we each bring what we have to the table. No scorekeeping. Francesca considered this for a long moment. A new house, she finally said. One we choose together. I like that idea. So that's a yes. Jack pulled her into his arms. That's a yes, she confirmed, sealing the agreement with a kiss. 6 months later, they moved into a spacious but comfortable home in a good school district. It wasn't a mansion, but it had a big yard, a tree perfect for a swing, and enough bedrooms for their growing family, which soon included a third child, a daughter they named Emma, born almost exactly 2 years after they met. Jack never did quit his construction job, eventually starting his own company with seed money that Francesca insisted was an investment, not a gift. She continued to run Newell Innovations, though she delegated more and worked mainly from home, determined not to miss her children's childhoods. On their first anniversary, Jack finally proposed properly, with a ring he'd saved for months to buy. It wasn't the biggest diamond Francesca had ever seen, but she declared it perfect because it came from him. You know, she said on their wedding night, as they danced under the stars in their backyard, surrounded by friends and family, some people might say you hit the jackpot, marrying a billionaire. Nah, Jack disagreed, pulling her closer. The real jackpot was that day at Target when I couldn't keep my mouth shut about car seats. Francesca laughed, the sound still his favorite in the world. Thank God for your big mouth. Thank God for your terrible parenting skills, he countered. I've gotten better, she protested. Jack looked over to where Lily, now 9, was helping Noah, nearly 4, attempt to dance with little Emma toddling between them. We both have, he said softly. Together. In the end, it wasn't about the billionaire and the struggling dad. It was simply about 2 people who found each other when they needed it most, who built a bridge across their differences, and who created a family stronger than either could have imagined alone. And that, Jack knew as he kissed his wife under the twinkling lights of their perfectly imperfect home, was worth more than all the billions in the world.